Joy News Prime.
This is Joy News Prime here on Joy News and Multi TV. My name is Israel. I welcome you to the most comprehensive news bulletin in Ghana. Coming up, police take over security at headquarters of the country's main opposition party, the New Patriotic Party, after some private security personnel went on rampage there, vandalizing property in the vicinity. Ashanti region police intercept yet another cache of weapons, the second in 1 week. Citizen Ghana movement sues Power Minister, the Attorney General and Speaker of Parliament over controversial Amir energy agreement estimated at about $510 million. But then we're also hearing from the Amir group. We'll bring you what they have to say.
And in business tonight, Agric Minister Fifi Kwete challenges claims his sector's budgetary allocation has been slashed. Rather, he says the allocations have been increased by over 17 million cedis this year. Amir I'll be back in 30 minutes with details.
And pressure mounts on Korle Bu chief executive after nurses at the facility join agitations for his removal. Also coming up in the bulletin, we have entertainment, sport and Joy News Interactive will all follow in the second hour of this bulletin, which is also available across Europe on ABN television on the Sky platform as well as Freeview Connect. Please stay tuned. President John Dramani Mahama has been giving an account of his 3-year stewardship at the helm of government. At a ceremony in Accra on Tuesday evening, the president walked his audience through the pages of a book chronicling his achievement in office since 2012. Derek Ekosam has this wrap of Tuesday's meeting.
The 1 hour 30 minutes delivery was centered on the 4 pillars the ruling National Democratic Congress campaigned on in the build-up to the 2012 elections. The president, who seemed excited about his achievements, particularly in developing the technical sector, spoke about government's initiative that will provide employment for the youth. About 510 skills development institutions will benefit from the 150 million Ghana cedi offer.
65 million support for technical and vocational training has been invested in 2015. Technical and vocational training is very important because if you look at the job market, increasingly businesses are looking for middle-level technicians. We've provided more than 150 million to various institutions and associations to promote technical and vocational training. This has been done under the COTVET program.
In the health sector, President Mahama said government will construct about 15 polyclinics across the country. Additionally, the University of Ghana's teaching hospital is nearing completion.
Work is ongoing on 2 teaching hospitals, 4 regional hospitals, 14 district hospitals, and over 30 health centers. 5 additional polyclinics have been completed, and another 15 polyclinics for the Central and Greater Accra regions have just been approved by Parliament. What we're doing is we're taking the University of Ghana's medical school out of Korle Bu and building their own hospital for them. And so the students, medical students in Legon, will learn here.
The president's biggest challenge during his term of office has been the seemingly unending power crisis that has halted the growth of some businesses in the country. He said government, in finding a permanent solution to the issue, has entered into an agreement with some independent power producers to construct additional power plants.
The steam component of T2, that is the TICO plant in Abuaze, is 110 megawatts. It's completed and it's awaiting commissioning. And then there's the car power batch 225, and there's the controversial Amir plant that has generated a lot of discussion, 250 megawatts. And this is the Krontema plant. The Krontema plant is a VRA plant that we have built ourselves, and it's going to add another 220 megawatts to our generation. All these are at various stages of completion. And so when they are completed and they add more power, then it will reduce the effect of the doomsday that we are currently feeling.
With less than a year to go to the 2016 polls and with a number of projects uncompleted, Ghanaians must wait with bated breath to see if the president will fulfill his promise of fixing the power crisis. For Joy News, Derek Ekosam.
Right, so news just coming through is that the National Council of the New Patriotic Party has appointed McMenu as a campaign chairman for the 2016 elections. It's Peter McMenu. Other members, Dan Boche, Ken Oforiatta, Boache, Ejakona. This is news just coming through on my device here. But earlier on, news relating to the MPP, police reinforcements were called in on Tuesday afternoon to restore calm at the headquarters of the party after protests by supporters turned violent. The party sympathizers were demonstrating against a meeting of the party's National Executive Committee of the recent parliamentary primaries in the Korle constituency of the Greater Accra region. Kwachafre Nyama, he witnessed the chaos, and he's also been at the party headquarters all this while, and he just sent through this information about the fact that Peter McMenu has been appointed as the campaign manager for the 2016 elections. He's going to be briefing us about all of that. So, good evening to you, Kwachi. Now, I'd like us to start from the news that's just coming through, which is the fact that Peter McMenu has been appointed as the campaign manager for the New Patriotic Party going into elections 2016. Tell us some more about this.
Well, this news is not so surprising because all the while two men were in this contest. I mean, two names came up, Peter McMenu and Minority Chief Whip Dan Boche, former General Secretary as well, the MPP. But the party has settled on Peter McMenu to lead their campaign team going into this election. And some of the names you mentioned, there are the names in this contest. In this team, you have John Boyd, who I understand he will be in charge of operations, acting General Secretary and substantive national organizer of the party. He will be assisted by Samir Oku and the party's Nasara coordinator, Kamal Dean. I understand as well that Ken Oforiatta is in the campaign team, and as well as the party's regional and constituency executives will be involved hugely in the party's campaign. And one key issue is that Nana Akufo-Addo during his flag bearership contest, what worked for him, information I've gathered, is that he intends using the same strategy involving the very grassroots of the party, and because this was what he believes did the trick for him when he was contesting against the likes of Alan Chairman, saying that gave him that over 90% of the votes of the delegates. So you will see that a number of the regional and constituency executives will be hugely involved in the party's campaign going into the 2016 election, which will most likely come up in November. But this certainly was after a marathon meeting here that was attended by the flag bearer himself, Nana Akufo-Addo. You had other top officials of the MPP here as well. All the big names you can think about, the acting national chairman, Freddie Blay, were all here at the meeting that crucially decided on this particular matter, Israel.
Well, now, Kwachi, I gather that then probably the flag bearer presented the names to the National Council and they had to decide or approve the campaign manager and the other members of the team. Is that correct? Absolutely.
And in fact, this was after broad-based consultations within the rank and file of the party, talking up to all those who matter insofar as the MPP is concerned. In fact, a number of the regional executives were also consulted, going down to that level to talk about names that could be included, names that should be taken out, and so on, and so forth. And so Nana Akufo finally had to present this name to the party's national council. But before that, there had been, the party steering committee had been made aware of it. The national executive committee has also been made aware of it. The national council had to take a final decision on this. This is certainly the second highest decision-making body after the National Congress. And on November 19, on Saturday, when the party organizes its extraordinary delegates conference, these individuals will be outdoored to to the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party.
All right, so Kwachi, is it the same meeting that was happening, for which reason there were those disturbances? Because we're told that there are some people who moved to the party headquarters thinking that the meeting was to decide on the fate of the constituency primaries in the Korle Bu constituency. Yes,
you had around 1:30 p.m. Some supporters of the parliamentary candidate of the MPP, Nino Inote, gathered in front of the party's headquarters because they said that they had gotten hints that this National Council meeting was going to discuss the possibility of calling for a rerun of the election in that area. Already we know that Philip and the other candidates who lost to Nino Inote are in court pushing for a rerun, but Nino Inote has already indicated that he will not be part of this contest. So his supporters were here to protest any possibility of that resolution that would see the election reorganized. But then the party's invisible forces, the private security, all of a sudden attacked them. In fact, journalists were around at the moment as well. And their point was that with the journalists, no one had invited us to the meeting. With the protesters, they said their point was that they were here to cause confusion because this was the same issue that the party's top leadership were discussing. And so it got pretty violent to the extent that a vehicle, a minibus that was parked here, got completely destroyed. The rear screen, the side screen were all broken. And that officer, that driver, I understand, has reported the matter to the police. Heavy security presence here still at the MPP headquarters where I am. And the Accra Regional Police Commander himself is on the ground, Israel, and they are presenting some evidence they say they have to the MPP, and they will be expecting to, they should be making some arrests in the next few days with the evidence that they have video evidence and all that after presenting the documents to the leadership of the New Patriotic Party.
Right, just for clarity, was there any decision taken or any word on the Korle Bu constituency primaries?
What Nano Bribwahe, who I interviewed a while ago, told me was that the party has decided that the matter should be settled in court. Well, this is interesting because after court proceedings today, the party made it clear, and in fact in court, the legal representative of the MPP said that they want to deal with the matter outside the court, then they will inform the court. So it's surprising, and in fact the expectation based on the interview that the MPP's lawyer granted journalists was that they were going to take a final decision on it, whether to rerun or not. But now they say that the court should handle it and decide for the party. So it's up to whatever decision that the court will take in the next few days that will determine whether the election in Korle Bu will be rerun or Nino Inote will remain the party's parliamentary candidate in the 2016 election to face the NDC's Zanet Rollins.
All right, thank you very much, Kwachi Afrenium, joining us from the New Patriotic Party headquarters here in Accra. Staying with the New Patriotic Party, the Union of Traditional Priests in the Greater Accra region has asked the opposition party to quickly put its house in order and stop its members from disturbing the public peace. Recently, a scheduled news conference organized by supporters of the suspended chairman Paul Afoko turned violent in the Blekuma South constituency. One of the Ga fetish priests was caught in the violence, prompting the Wolome to publicly voice their concern over happenings within the opposition party.
We are deeply worried with the turn of events on the political landscape, and the first question that comes to our mind, challenging and summoning our wisdom and courage, is why has peace eluded some of us so soon? Meanwhile, we Ghanaians are known for our peaceful resolution to issues. Although we the Wolome are barred by the 1992 Constitution from engaging in partisan politics, the same Constitution guarantees the right to freedom of speech, and that is why we are commenting on this issue, because the proverb says that when one's ear is slapped, it is the eye that shed tears. So as leaders, if we keep silent and any unfortunate happenings should occur in the country, we will have ourselves to blame. Hence our appeal to the respected elders in the party, that is NPP, to, as a matter of urgency, call for truce in the party so that these happenings of attacks on individuals do not degenerate into a free-for-all infighting in the party to spill over onto others. It is our hope that next year's general election will be free and fair, because if we fail to uphold the peace that have been bequeathed to us by those who struggled and shed their blood for this country to be inherited by us, posterity will not forgive us, and their judgments of us will be very harsh. Our advice to all the political parties is that sometimes one is down and in others one is up. So all are being entreated to accept the results of the 2016 general elections in good faith, so the country will move on. Our gathering here is prompted by the attack actually on our elder, whom we revere. And it doesn't mean that because he belongs to one party or another, that is why we are, but it is an advice to all political parties. We are not singling out only the NPP, but it's just a focal point, as I will put it. Maybe as an example, because this is what has been of topical news currently, and that is why we're commenting on it.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break. When we come back, we have more stories. Please don't go away. Right, you're welcome back to Joy News Prime. Now, a pressure group, Citizen Ghana Movement, has sued the Power Minister, the Attorney General and the Speaker of Parliament over the controversial Amir deal to augment the country's electricity supply. Media reports have suggested the contract for the supply of power turbines has been overpriced by hundreds of millions of dollars. Among other things, the CGM is demanding the full publication of the contract and the due diligence reports that preceded its signing. Nana Kwesi Ewa is lawyer for CGM and he's joining me now on Skype. Good evening to you, Nana Kwesi Ewa. All right, we can't quite hear Nana, but if you can hear me, yeah. Nana, good evening to you.
Good evening, Israel. How are you?
I'm very fine, Nana. So what's your issue? Why are you suing these three individuals?
Well, first of all, concerning the Power Minister, we are suing the Power Minister to make full disclosure by providing us with a copy of the signed contract between the government of Ghana and the Amir Energy LLC. That is one. And also to make full disclosure on the due diligence carried out on the contract and to furnish us with a report, that is the due diligence report, if any exists. That is two. Concerning the Speaker of Parliament, we also want to find out the deliberations, the minutes that the Mines and Energy Committee have on the deal itself when they were considering it. Beyond that, too, we also want to have the report of the Mines and Energy Committee that accompanied the motion to approve the contract. So the Attorney General is there as a nominal defendant. The Attorney General is listed there as a nominal defendant, and this is why they are pursuing this matter. We come under Article 21F. Hello, Israel, are you there?
I can hear you. I can hear you, Nana.
We are coming under Article 21F of the Constitution, which guarantees every citizen the right to information.
All right. So you're asking for these things. To what end? If you're giving the contract, if you're giving the minutes of whatever transpired in the due diligence, to what end?
Well, it would help us make an informed judgment of what actually went on and how come we are where we are today.
All right.
Because
so it's because you suspect that there's something wrong?
Yes.
What are your suspicions?
Well, if you look at the report which came from the Norwegian news firm, and if you look at the reaction, especially the reaction from the Power Ministry, there are a lot of inconsistencies therein. And so we believe that the only way to clear this will be to give the Power Minister an opportunity to make these documents available through the court system. And
what are the inconsistencies you've identified in the, or contradictions you've identified in what the Norwegian newspaper said and what the Prime Minister said?
Well, if you look at, for instance, in the Prime Minister's statement, he mentions that Ghana is not making any payments for the plants, the machines, the generators, the gas turbines, really. And however, a copy of the contract which we have cited, which is the unofficial copy, I would say, you realize that there are terms in there which says that Ghana is supposed to make monthly payments to Amir Energy. And so, moreover, if you look at the contract itself, there is this infamous Annex G, which is missing in there somehow. And so we want to exercise our right to information under the Constitution to be able to have access to all these documents in order to enable us make an informed judgment of the issues that is arising and keeps coming up since this issue broke out.
Have you filed your processes?
Oh yes, we have. We filed it this morning. We filed the processes this morning at the Human Rights Court.
All right, thank you very much, Nana. Now let's get on to, we're just getting a statement coming through from the Amir Group, and the Amir Group, they're the ones which Ghana has signed this contract with to provide power, and the contract sum, we're told, is $510 million, but of course there are suggestions that the contract sum has been inflated and that we could have gotten the power at a much cheaper cost. Now I'm joined here in the studio by Francis Aban. He's with the Energy Desk here at Joy News, and he's going to be taking us through the statement. Francis, you've been going through the statement. What is it you've been able to identify? What's Amir Group saying?
Well, for Amir Group, they want to clear the air about the Norwegian publication that sought to suggest, according to them, that a lot of things have gone wrong with the deal with Ghana, especially claims that one person on the wanted list of Interpol was part of the transaction. So let me just quickly go through the statement and the key areas. They said that an article published by a tabloid newspaper called VG from Norway made false and slanderous accusations regarding the emergency power project agreement executed between Amir Group and the government of Ghana. Amir Group stands by its agreement with the government of Ghana and believes that we have assembled a world-class team of developers to accomplish the job on time and on budget. Joining us on the project is the Greek EPC contractor, Metka. Now, it goes on to explain how Umar Farouk became part of this whole deal. It says that the tabloid articles targets Mr. Umar Farouk only wrongly portraying him as the owner of the company, but also tries.
Francis, let's do it this way. When I last had an encounter with you, an engagement with you about this Amir Group, the controversial Amir deal,
yes,
one of the things that stood out was the fact that we, or government of Ghana, had apparently been dealing with some guy who is supposed to be on the Interpol's wanted list.
Exactly.
What or how does Amir Group address this issue?
For them, they say that for the individual, and his name is Mr. Umar Farouk, they say that the paper portrayed him as the owner of the company but tries to malign his character. For them, they state that Farouk attempted to swindle the government of Ghana through this transaction, still referring to the article. But for their response, they say that Mr. Umar Farouk served as CEO of Amir Group until August 2015, was never a shareholder nor a partner in the company. Mr. Farouk resigned as CEO in order to pursue other bigger business interests, and that the allegation is plainly false, that he is actually on Norway's fraud list, because they say that Mr. Farouk was residing in Dubai as of 2010 when the VG claims that this man had committed some fraud in Norway in 2010. Also, he's a legal resident in Dubai since 2005 and has not been to Norway since. In fact, the person the tabloid interviewed who has accused him has already been convicted of the same fraud by the courts in Norway and is currently in jail. During the tenure of his employment, Mr. Farouk was never wanted or alleged of any crime or fraud in any part of the world.
In short, what the Amir Group is saying, that there's one Umar Farouk who was once the chief executive,
yes,
except that
it's not the same
he's
person,
not the same person that Norwegian
wanted by the Norwegian
newspaper is saying
exactly.
That is wanted. Now, the other issue that also came up is that this contract we're having the $510 million contract is overpriced.
Yes.
How does Amir answer this?
Well, they're pretty silent on the breakdown for the 510 and how they respond to it. They say that the tabloid managed to speak about the terms of the contract. They referred to the Power Minister's statement indicating that this was a build, own, operate and transfer agreement and not an outright purchase of the generating plants. They said actually nothing about the price breakdown of the $510 million contract.
So you're saying essentially all that the Amir Group is saying, or the main point is that Umar Farouk who is supposed to be wanted is not the Umar Farouk they dealt with.
And also, in view of all the bad press they have received, they are ready to activate any legal rights to, bring whoever has brought their name into disrepute to order.
Essentially threatening to sue
exactly
the VG newspaper.
Yes.
Right, thank you very much, Francis Aban. And Francis Aban is with us here on the Joy News Energy Desk. Essentially what the Amir Group is saying is that the Umar Farouk that they were supposed to, or government of Ghana is supposed to have signed an agreement with and who is on Interpol's wanted list or supposed to be a fraudster is not the same Umar Farouk that they have on their records or they once dealt with, even though he's no longer with them. And then secondly, they're essentially saying that they're going to sue. They're threatening to sue the VG newspaper, which put out the publication about their dealings here in Ghana. Now, in other news, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Innovation has committed itself to buying all its vehicles from the Kantanka Motor Company from next month. Sector Minister Mahama announced this during a tour of the company's assembling plant in Accra. Hanodame was with him.
Outdoored 3 weeks ago, the Kantanka vehicles come in 3 brands: mini SUVs, pickups and big SUVs. Prices range between 68,000 to 94,000 cedis. Manufacturing between 8 to 12 vehicles a day, the company hopes to deliver the 75 orders it has received by the 15th of January. These orders are from the Zimbabwean High Commission, some private institutions, and, as the CEO puts it, dozens of ordinary Ghanaians. Minister of Environment, Science and Innovation, Mahama explains the decision to purchase vehicles from the company forms part of government's agenda to promote made in Ghana goods.
I have already instructed my chief director next year, if we're able to raise some money, to procure some vehicles from this assembly plant. I would like to personally use one here in Ghana, anywhere that I have to go to, every function, to be seen driving a Kantanka vehicle in order to give them the assured market. Also, I will present a memo to colleagues in cabinet to give local assembling plants and manufacturers some incentive and financial base to expand and to be cheaper, so that we can provide low-income people an opportunity to be able to afford.
CEO of Kantanka Automobile Company, Kojo Safu Jr., was unhappy. Government has not supported the company since it started its operations 12 years ago and asked for tax incentives.
We would need a lot of tax exemptions. I mean, we need the prices to be very, very affordable for, the middle class or even below, to purchase the vehicles for all kinds of purposes. We need a policy whereby it would be noted that certain number of vehicles would be purchased from Kantanka Automobile, for example, to the security forces, to the ministries, departments and MDAs.
Mahama assured the company of a positive response soon.
I, on my part, will fight within government to ensure that they get all the tax incentives that will help reduce the price, to be able to give them the financial base to expand and improve on the different type of products that they will be providing the market.
For Joy News, my name is Hannah Odami.
Right, currently underway is the Imani Ghana Annual Public Service Awards. It's taking place here in Accra. Right now we have a former rector of GIMPA, the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. He's addressing the event, and so we're going over there to listen in a bit.
Telecom, Electricity Corporation, Water River Authority, Ghana Highways Authority, and don't allow me for my age to forget the rest. And I said that if these institutions worked, Ghana will have no problem. And if they didn't work, everybody is in trouble. This was even the time before Dumso came and is. It is therefore important for us to note the importance of the public sector, especially at our stage of development, and their efficiency. And when the public sector is efficient and works, the private sector is then able to deliver the normal goods and services that they want to. I mean, those who have heard me before know my meeting story. When I was head of the UN system in Namibia, Walvis Bay was 360 kilometers from Windhoek. When we had teams to clear from the port, I never sent an officer, I only sent a driver. Because when you went to the port, the questions were very simple. Is that your good that is required? Is your way bill? Does it belong to you, your identification? The third is that, is it dutiable? If it's dutiable, they press a few buttons, your tax was on it. And there's a bank there, you go and pay it. And then you come and they stamp it. You go and you take your good out. Those of us who were not, were in the diplomatic circle, you never paid it. That means at that time, so we send a driver 360 kilometers in the morning at 6 o'clock. Normally, by 3 p.m., he has cleared a car or any good and come back with it to Windhoek. Of course, I must confess that their roads are good. The 360 kilometers, you do it in a maximum of 3.5 hours at 100 kilometers. Then, as a young man, when I was head of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, the research division, I did a study of the steps it took to clear a good. I didn't know that I would go experience this in even another African country at Tema Harbor, and it required 52 steps. And this is the only country. I just happened that my PhD is international trade and finance. With my PhD, I cannot, until recently I hear things are improving, clear even a pen at the port in Kutoka or at Tema. I require sometimes a semi-illiterate clearing agent, because he knows how to maneuver their way at a very heavy loss to the government in terms of revenue, and even much more so to the private sector, who says that the private sector is the engine. I almost quote a familiar one. I say, PR, it is the public sector.
Right, you've been listening to the former rector of the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, Professor Stephen Adair, and he is addressing the Imani Ghana Annual Public Service Awards. We'll be bringing you some more details from that, but right now we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you business news. Right, Etonam Say has joined me with the business news. Good evening to you, Etonam.
Good evening, Israel.
So all this, I mean, there's been a lot of back and forth, especially after the reading of the presentation of the 2016 budget. But how much was allocated to the agric sector, and how much the agric sector has dwindled or is suffering because of
the
allocations that are given them. Interestingly, the Agric Minister is saying it's not the case.
He said it's not the case. He said it's not the case, and apparently he said they've received a lot.
They're
of
actually
money.
Getting a lot more
over the year, particularly this year. They've had a lot of contributions from government to the agric sector, and I don't know why we're still not having bumper harvest apart from the rains.
Well, you take it away.
All right, now, Agric Minister Fifi Kwete has debunked assertions that budgetary allocations to the agricultural sector have been reducing over the years. According to him, allocation to the sector was increased by over 17 million cedis this year. He said this in response to concerns that government's commitment to the agric sector has dwindled. Fifi Kwete spoke to Joy Business at the National Agricultural Policy Forum.
The National Agricultural Policy Forum brought together farmers and other stakeholders to discuss ways of improving agricultural production in the country. The agric sector, which used to be the highest contributor to the country's GDP, has seen a decline from 30% to about 21%. Many stakeholders have partly blamed the shortfall in agricultural production on a reduction in government's allocation to the sector. Victoria Dongo is Programs Coordinator for the Peasant Farmers Association.
Specifically, we want to talk about the CADEP and the Malabo Declaration, both of which seek to develop and transform agriculture. Then we want to also link that to sustainable development, agriculture-related sustainable development goals, which is now the global development agenda, after the MDGs. So you see the link we are trying to make. We are looking at the CADEP, Agricultural Development Program, which is a CADEP. Then we are looking at the Malabo Declaration, which is a recommitment to the principles of the CADEP. Then we narrow down to investment in agriculture.
But addressing participants at the forum, Agric Minister Fifi Kwete indicated government makes a lot of indirect contribution towards agriculture.
When you have monies that go, for example, to the Ministry of Roads and Highways, under whose purview comes the construction of feeder roads and other roads in the country, that is some money that's affecting agriculture, even though you do not see it directly under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. When you see, for example, budget allocation going to the Ministry of Science Technology, a lot of our research institutions that affect agricultural transformation by way of research fall under the Ministry of Science and Technology. So when you do not see all that money coming to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, and you do your analysis simply by limiting to what budget allocation is given to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, it tends to be pretty limiting.
Meanwhile, peasant farmers have impressed on government the need for a paradigm shift in approaches to developing this sector.
And President John Mahama has charged Ghanaian businesses to venture into manufacturing despite the associated risks. This, according to him, has become critical to boost the country's exports towards addressing major economic woes such as the cedi depreciation. President Mahama was speaking at the inauguration of the new Kasapreko production line.
The new production plant commissioned by President Mahama is to boost the quantity and quality of Kasapreko's beverage production. Founder and Group Chairman of Kasapreko Company Limited, Dr. Kwabneje, explains the plant will ultimately boost the company's efficiency.
We have invested in 2 state-of-the-art high-speed production lines for our spirit brands. These 2 lines have a combined capacity to produce 70,000 bottles per hour in both the glass and the PET lines. In addition, we have just completed the installation of 2 additional high-speed lines to produce our water and non-alcoholic drinks with a combined capacity of 40,000 bottles per hour. Our commitment to quality and the drive to remain the market leader is sustained through research, development, and the use of modern technology.
President Mahama commended the company for the feat and reiterated government's commitment to support the growth of especially local businesses.
I encourage Ghanaian businessmen to move a step into manufacturing. Yes, it is safer and more comfortable to do commerce and trading, and we find that a lot of our businessmen prefer to stay in the security of trading and commerce. Manufacturing is risky because your idea must depend on several factors and several decisions you make, including location of industries. You know, where the industry is located can make a difference whether you're successful or you fail. There are several other factors that might be beyond your control: availability of affordable power, availability of sufficient water, and all those things are issues that you must factor into place to be able to be a successful manufacturer. But again, no country is built on commerce and trading alone. It is manufacturing, agriculture, and agro-processing that will change the structure of this economy and make our country rub shoulders with the big names in this world.
Casapreco meanwhile plans to partner neighboring countries to produce and export cassava-made beverages in the coming year.
A principal lecturer and economist at GIMPA, Dr. Samoni Noy Eshong, warns of difficult times for businesses next year. He says 2016 will see massive cuts in credit to the private sector as financial institutions find it profitable and less risky lending to governments at the expense of the private firms. Speaking to Joy Business on the bylines of the second symposium to review the 2016 budget at GIMPA, he says the trend calls for innovative measures for businesses to survive come next year. We'll bring you that story later on. And for the first time, the Ghana International Trade Fair is to be held outside Accra in the northern regional capital, Tamale. The 20th edition of the fair, to be held between February 25 and March 7, 2016, was launched today.
The Ghana International Trade Fair, GITF, provides an opportunity for local and foreign businesses to promote their products and services to potential clients. The 20th edition is under the theme 2 Decades in International Trade Fairs in Ghana, exploring business opportunities in the SADA zone of Ghana. The event is being organized by the Ghana Trade Fair Company in collaboration with the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority SADA. The board chairman of SADA, Suli Adams, explained why the event is being held in Tamale for the first time.
It is the bigger half of the country, which I heard the chief executive officer articulating earlier on, 54.4% of the surface area of Ghana, where little attention has been paid to business development and investment opportunities for generations. This is a waste and holds back the development of our country, something that we cannot afford, which means going forward, we need to look at that part of the country and see how best we can showcase it. That is just number one. Number two, it has unparalleled agricultural opportunities. 6 million acres of suitable agricultural land for rain-fed irrigated farming. The land may seem unproductive in rain-fed conditions, but comes to life when irrigated. When irrigated, up to 60,000 square kilometers of land, suitable for rice, sugarcane, soya, and several other grains.
Over 500 exhibitors are expected to participate in the 20th edition of the Ghana International Trade Fair, which is slated for between 25th of February and the 7th of March 2016.
All right, so it's Wednesday and we are still trading, and we want to know how the market is looking, and John is here to help me do that. I see 2 equities trading, but all of them lost.
Exactly, so it's all losing market today. Seeing EGL, that's Ecobank Ghana Limited, and then Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited losing peso each to their investors. Basically, what this tells the market about the fact that we are getting to the end of the year. We're seeing a lot of block trades happening on the market. Today happens to be one of them.
Right.
It made actually the liquidity on the market very high, meaning that there were a lot of trades going on, exchanging a lot of shares, exchanging hands on the market today. You know, we had almost over 3.5 million shares trading hands, all costing a total about 2.5 million, meaning that lesser priced shares traded today.
Right.
Okay, that's exactly what it means. And it also means that if you have money and you want to actually enter the market today, it's one of the best time to go, because to get Ecobank Ghana Limited actually opening the market or closing the market at 2.4, right, it's quite a significant price to actually have it.
And I see the CD is doing well today.
The CD has been very fantastic today. Good. Performing very well against the dollar, the British pound, and the euro.
Right.
Even for the first time in about 2 months, actually done far better against the Chinese yuan. That's quite significant. But then the point is it going to be maintained? How sustainable is this actually going to be? Because this cannot be a trend. It can't be a trend. Just one particular day's event can never be a trend. So we should actually be looking out for some of these signals as and when we go along, because these are some of the pressure times for the city, because a lot more people are importing. People are spending money.
What's happening with the commodity market?
With the commodities market, as you can see right here, gold is the only gainer on the New York Mercantile Exchange as we speak. Just 5 minutes ago, we saw crude oil lose $1.10 to close at $37.2 per barrel. And of course, cocoa, let's look at it. That's what's most significant and most relevant to us here in Ghana. Cocoa lost $41 to close at $3,297 per metric ton.
I'm not excited.
You shouldn't be excited, because cocoa has been losing. And what Ghanaians should also be worried about is about the fact that our volumes also keeps reducing because of the weather conditions, and some farmers are also saying spraying and all that, so accounting for it. So I think basically the market has been quite good today, and it's been good. So let's see what tomorrow brings. Exactly.
Thank you, John. Yeah. Thank you. On that note, we wrap up with business. My name is Eton Amse. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. We go back to the Imani Public Sector Awards and see what's been happening there.
And contrary to it leading to leakages, they would lead to much more efficiency and revenue generation. Again, I think that complaints of poor service delivery must be taken seriously. At this moment, it seems as if when you don't get the service, you are at the mercy of the same officer. There was someone who told me he wanted the service, he had gone there 3 times. He said, the next time you go, sit in front of the officer and say that if he doesn't provide the service, you won't leave the office. And he got the service. Why? Because he had to decide. I haven't seen any civil servant go and bring a policeman because somebody says that a service which often can be done in 5 minutes, you go there for 4 times, sometimes for some obvious reasons. And I think that it is quite important that we treat, especially those at the helm of affairs, to treat complaints seriously. One day, I was walking about Gimpa and I saw somebody. I've deliberately not talked about Gimpa for good reason, but this is and I saw somebody. I said, "What's your problem?" He had a difficulty in about the fees that he has to pay and other things. I sorted it out. It was just simple, and I said that you have 5 or 10% discount on your fees right now, right? Why? Because he deserves a better office, and he shouldn't be standing there for 10 minutes to pay me money. And the person who made the person wait for 10 minutes is the person I have to deal with. But oftentimes it's the customer in Ghana who suffers. No. And of course, I saw the queues dwindling. We must be very careful that we don't provide service on the basis of whom you know, your party card or where you come from. These yams must be dropped forthwith. When it comes to public service, our hallmarks are neutrality, independence, efficiency, and transparency. That is what makes a public servant and a proud one as such.
Right, you've just been listening to an address by Professor Stephen Yadai. He is a former rector of the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. He is speaking at the Imani Ghana Annual Public Service Awards. We're taking a break now. When we come back, we'll bring you international news. It's time for Joy News Interactive, the tease. And Aisha Ibrahim is here. Good evening, Aisha.
Good evening, Easy. You're calm. Why?
Well, I know what you're up to. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Okay, so he's giving me the permission to do that. Israelite is trending on Facebook, and this is why. So we'll be taking.
You don't have anything else to say?
We'll be taking your comments on that famous video we released last night. We'll also have your comments on the latest NPP demonstration and the over 3.6 million cedis rebranding of 116 buses for the Metro Mass Rapid Transit. All of these coming up on Joy News Interactive. Please stay.
All right, this is the typical situation where you just use the abbreviation SMH, and I'm sure you know what that means. We're taking a break. When we come back, we have more for you. Stay tuned. All right, this is Joy News Prime Time now for a recap of our top stories. Police have taken over security at the headquarters of the country's main opposition party, the New Patriotic Party, after some private security personnel went on rampage there, vandalizing property in the vicinity. Also this evening, we are learning that the National Executive or the National Council of the NPP has named Peter McMenu, former chairman of the party, as a campaign manager for the 2016 elections. The Citizen Ghana movement has sued the Power Minister, the Attorney General and Speaker of Parliament over the controversial Amir agreement estimated at about $510 million. Now on to the rest of our headline stories. Pressure is mounting on the chief executive of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital as nurses and midwives have joined agitations for his dismissal. This is after the Senior Staff Association passed a vote of no confidence in Dr. Gilbert Buckle for allegedly mismanaging the nation's biggest referral hospital. The association's agitations have led to the dismissal or resignations of 3 previous CEOs and management boards at the hospital. Francis Avan spoke to the leader of the Korle Bu Senior Staff Association, Charles Ofei Palm, and asked about their repeated agitations against hospital management.
89% of our members said that, look, the chief executive is not performing. Almost 90% say he should resign. The issue is that if he doesn't resign, then the hospital will go down, it will collapse. Now, take note, take cognizance of the normal. Now, if you have an institution and then 90% of them say that you should resign, I think this is a fair representative that you are not performing.
You say the hospital is collapsing. Where's the evidence?
The evidence is there. The evidence is everywhere. Lack of consumables to work with. Lack of basic consumables to work with. It will amaze you to note that even soap to wash your hands are not available. So how do you wash your hand and do surgery? It will interest you to know that basic equipment such as suction machine is not available. A whole theater has been closed. We are just running on emergency surgeries only. You ask yourself, a big institution like Korle Bu with competent surgeons who are ever ready to work, but the facilities or things that they need to work with are not available. It brings their professional competence into dispute, and that is a danger in any healthcare institution that you find yourself. Yes, we raise concerns with the board chairman concerning what is transpiring. We realized the hospital was going down financially, even though the hospital has increased its services provision by 300%. So the question you ask yourself is that, where is the money going to? We are losing money where we are not supposed to lose money.
Okay. You're asking very key questions about where the money is going to. The hospital is being run down. You can't get basic consumables to work. For these concerns you raise, have you directly spoken to the chief executive about this?
Yes, on so many occasions.
And his response?
Oh, we will work on it. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. And then we will even spoken to them in the board chairman on it. It's only the ministry that have not been there. But we've done that to the both of them because we've thought that when they came, we had a truce on media appearances. So we said, oh, let's begin to solve our problems internally. So we write open letters, frankly open letters, which are coming available to the Ghanaian community, to the board chairman, detailing
how the hospital is performing badly.
At what point did you graduate from not dealing with the CEO to the board chairman?
When we realized he wasn't listening to us.
How many times?
The Ashanti Region Police Command has ordered people in illegal possession of weapons to voluntarily surrender them or face arrest. Regional Commander DCOP Kofi Boachi warns recalcitrant offenders would be prosecuted. The order follows a second arms seizure in the region in less than a week. Insura FM's Ohiming Tia has been following the story and joins us on the phone with more. Good evening to you, Ohiming.
Good evening, Israel.
What kind of arms were seized and from where?
Yes, Israel. These are sophisticated weapons, what police will say, and they are 2 AK-47 assault rifles and 146 ammunition. So these are the arms that were seized.
Now, who owns these weapons and what action is the police taking against them?
Yes, that's a difficult question now because according to police, they acted upon a tip-off. Somebody just informed them that indeed this particular place actually in the Achema Kwangoma district in the Ashanti region has become a safe haven for armed robbers who keep their guns or weapons there. So they informed police, and police also laid ambush with the hope that this time around the robbers will turn up and they also have the opportunity to arrest them. But unfortunately, the robbers did not turn up. So what happened was that while police were laying ambush, bush fire appeared from nowhere, and this particular spot, that where the weapons were buried, caught fire. So police had to rush in there. Even before they got there, and there had already been sporadic blast or shooting in the area because the ammunitions were being fired. So police managed to douse the fire, and that is where they discovered 2 AK-47 assault rifles and 146 ammunition. So for now, nobody has claimed ownership of the guns, and police say indeed they are investigating the matter. Israel.
All right, so the regional commander was saying he was asking people who are in possession of weapons to surrender them willfully. What incentives is he offering to get people to voluntarily surrender these weapons?
Yes, I spoke to some colleague journalists who also said that maybe this is one of the emergency measures being put in place by the police to also ensure that indeed arms that are causing into possession of people will be retrieved. But don't forget that within the last 1 week, Ashanti region has been in the news, not for a good one, but a very bad one, where caches of arms were retrieved. The first one was at Alaba. So police think that probably there could be some more weapons in the hands of people illegally. So this is the way to also encourage people to surrender these arms to the police. But there's an option. For now, anybody who walks to the police station bare-chested to say that these are my weapons and I'm surrendering them, police will have no case against you. And beyond this particular ultimatum, that is when police, when they take the matter up, that is where they say they will take the law will take its course against people who will feel recalcitrant and will not surrender their weapons. So indeed, let's see how it will play. But something that this is not the first time such a call has been made in the Ashanti region. Don't forget a year or two ago when the service officials also seized some weapons or intercepted weapons from Ivory Coast packed in cooler bags. These calls were, a similar call was made, but we didn't see the effectiveness of it all. But we pray and see that maybe this time around there could be a change to the call for people to voluntarily surrender their weapons in their possession.
All right, thank you very much, Insura FM's Ohiming Tia, bringing us up to speed there from Kumasi. We're taking a break now. When we come back, we bring you entertainment.
Entertainment news.
It's time now for entertainment, and Miss G has joined me. Good evening to you, Miss G.
Hello, Israel Kung Fu fighter. Like,
you're not going to go along with them, man.
What were you doing? Is that right? What were you doing? Oh, Israel, I told you come for dance lessons. Why do that to me? I woke up this morning and it was all over social media.
What's coming up on
and you were part of the things that were trending in entertainment today. You know, yes.
How do I get into the, how do I get into the news? Okay, now all that wasn't part of the news. It wasn't supposed to be. I don't know why they put that on it.
But you were still dancing. Israeli was dancing kung fu.
In private.
It was in private.
Yes.
But you're caught on camera.
Yeah, but it wasn't supposed to be.
So it goes to tell what Francisca has been saying. Or
what's up in entertainment?
Oh, this is part of entertainment. All right, so enjoy Israel. Yeah. Hey. Oh. Yeah. Oh, Israel.
Okay.
So you're done with your aerobic section.
What?
At least everybody gets to know that you have an aerobic section before you start the bulletin every day. And that's how come you look this fit. It's good. It's good news, isn't it?
Okay.
I'm still waiting.
I think we need to get that direct. Whoever shot this video has to come and explain how and why they shot this video,
the way they did,
and why they decided to put it on air.
Oh, sorry. I'll shoot a better video and I'll put it on air. You know, it will serve as a disclaimer. Anyway,
anybody who's been part of this will hear from my lawyers.
Okay. We are waiting to hear from your lawyers that you actually massacred the dance, Kung Fu dance. Anyway, so you know the story about VIP now becoming VVIP. You know that back in the day it was Promsy, Lazy, and then Prodigal.
Yeah.
The three of them came together. It was first 5 people, and then we got 3 later on. And then Promsy decided to take a walk, and then it was left with just Reggie joined the group. You know, after Reggie joined the group, people have been saying that it has lost the Nima touch. You know, how people thought that because the group lived back in the day at Nima, they were Nima boys, so they represented the ghetto. And now that Reggie Rockstone has joined, it's become a prim and proper group. And so, so we decided to go back in time to find out how the transition began and if truly the people of Nima think the same way. We are back to this locality, Nima, to find out from the people what they make of the new group VVIP as compared to what they were used to VIP.
Yeah, he has added total new flavor to it, but we cannot say because Reggie is from different place, VVIP is not a Nima thing. It's still a Nima thing.
So far as Reggie Rockstone has now come into the group and the Hausa, they can blend Hausa in their music. It is a plus. The swag is still there, even more.
Actually, the new one is doing their best. VVIP, I think Reggie Rockstone, you know, he's the icon in Ghana. You know, when we talk about hip hop, okay. So for me, his presence has actually moved them to a different angle together. You understand?
The new VIP is improving. There's more improving in the new VIP. So
for me, I prefer the VVIP, you know, because when they were VIP, they were singing well, although, but when they came to VVIP, I think it's better.
At the check VIP pass VVIP because VVIP or VIP earlier, they were the best for me.
Right, but if you ask me, I think that Reggie Rockstone has added to the group.
Yeah.
And I think the group, as somebody said, the group has a lot more swag now.
And it has a lot more international appeal. Yes, it's true that VIP was known internationally, but considering the kind of command that Reggie Rockstone has beyond the shores of Ghana, they think that, you know, he's made them more.
And they've dropped some great tracks.
Yeah.
I mean
the selfie hustle,
the selfie, yeah.
And then recently the one that is making everybody...
Let the music play, and the music is playing. I think that's the best thing that's happened to
And when the music plays, you need to dance and dance for Israel. Anyway, so you know the group Osibisa, you know, back in the day, Osibisa, we lost Macton, so now his brother Teddy Ose is alive and he's doing quite well. He has a concert coming up tomorrow. He tells us about it and then also goes back to talk about Kiki Jan. Yeah, you know, earlier, sometime back on this bulletin, we talked about the fact that his daughter Vanessa Jan accused Osibisa of neglecting the family. Now he addresses that issue as well.
This is a kind of a party celebration with, at the +233 club. You have to come in and just show your love. There are musicians that I played with before. And they all be there. Ambule, Nanaya, Kwabi Boa. You'll be there. And Bessa Simon. It's tomorrow, the 17th, starting from 8 o'clock.
There's been this issue, eyebrow raised about the fact that Kiki Jan wasn't very well taken care of. His daughter, you know, complained about not receiving adequate care that could make him die honorably.
You know, the daughter still didn't know about Kiki. The daughter was living in America. You know, when she was young, the daughter didn't know how Osibisa brought Kiki Jan up to a point that he was mostly the best known pianist in the world. And I don't think she knew what happened to say that we didn't help Kiki. Kiki was helped very much. Kiki, during our time, we bought a house. A young man of 18 years to have a house in England is no joke.
All right, so that is Teddy Ose.
It's a concept we need to you have to look forward to. I mean, certainly, we haven't heard from them in a while. So if he's coming to put together a concept,
exactly. So we'll be there tomorrow and we'll bring you all the details here. But this is the biggest story for today: Shatta Wale being accused by Bulldog and the wife of leaking Bulldog's wife's nude pictures.
Has it actually been leaked? I thought she was worried that it was going to be leaked.
No, she said she's seen them. You know, she granted a radio interview today. She said she's seen them. Some people have spoken to her. She actually confided in a friend, and she said the friend said to her, "Oh, you didn't know? I have seen them." They sent 2 of those pictures to her. And she said that initially she was worried because her husband told her that back when Shatta Wale and he Bulldog were in Germany where they had issues, Shatta called the police there in Germany to say that he had taken his laptop and so he wanted the laptop back. And because they were in a foreign country, Bulldog decided to give the laptop to Shatta Wale, which was a gift actually Shatta gave him some time past. And so when they came back to Ghana, her husband told her, that's Bulldog's wife told Bulldog that this was a situation, and they reported to the police. You know, there was a police issue that, and the police asked that Bulldog deletes the pictures. Well, she said that the pictures were deleted there on the PC, but apparently he had transferred them of the pictures to his phone. Yes. Okay. And so the pictures are being leaked all around, and she's so scared because someone had sent her 2 of those pictures.
Have you seen them?
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them, but
you're not interested in finding out what these pictures look like.
I don't think it's.
Well, just for reporting sake.
Well, would you want us to show them on the screens when we find them?
No, we're not going to be showing them on the screen. But if you see them,
of course, like I can confidently say that I've seen them
and see how serious they are. If they're like really nude or maybe partially.
It would be because according to the wife, she said that they had issues. She and Bulldog had issues, and she was just out of the bathroom. And then, you know, like how a man would want to, you know, appease his wife. She said, "Oh, my beautiful wife," and she was naked, and he started taking pictures of her. You know, so you can imagine what it would look like.
Nude photos
I wonder what, you know, he wanted to keep them for. You have the woman to yourself every night anyway. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can see her. All right.
Anyway. All right, so another gossip for the evening is Ice Prince Zamani, Nigerian singer Ice Prince Zamani, who sometimes
dating some Ghanaian.
Yes, you know, he loves Ghanaian girls. So, you know, he also was rumored to have dated Yvonne Nelson.
Yeah.
She refused. She said it wasn't true. She denied it. But the guy granted a television interview to say that.
Okay, so next thing we're going to be hearing is that Miss G has a Nigerian boyfriend.
Oh, I can't wait to have a Nigerian boyfriend. Hello, Baoni. What else should I say?
All right then. Well, all the best to you in your search for a Nigerian boyfriend. But thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, usual.
Entertainment, yeah,
and
all the mischief.
You need to
and all the mischief that you came with.
Dance lessons.
We're taking a break.
Okay, we wrap up with Israeli's dance. Kung Fu dance is called.
All right, Gary Al Smith is here with the sports. Good evening to you, Gary.
Good evening, Israel.
Right, and I can see Mahatma, who is one of the issues we're going to be talking about on sports tonight. Now, Mahatma too is the same guy who used to play for Hearts of Oak sometime back.
Yeah, in the Ghana Premier League.
Off the scene for a while
because the season after which he scored 20 goals to become the top scorer in Ghana, he went abroad to Norway to play in the team.
He joined the Exodus.
Yes, the Exodus.
And how has he been faring then?
He's been doing well, actually. So, because he's done so well this season, he's asking the Black Stars to look at me, look at him. Yeah, so that they give him a chance.
Take it away.
And that is the top story for the evening. Mahatma Otu, top scorer of the 2012-2013 Ghana Premier League season, is asking the handlers of the Black Stars to look at him twice. That's because this season in Norway, he has scored 13 goals in 24 appearances. He's been in good form, and he feels that probably the time for him to be given an opportunity for the national team.
The Premier, if I score more goals, if the season starts and it starts well, I'll come back to the national team. Yeah. Well, I have a lot of fans in Ghana, and they are praying for me very well, and I don't want to disappoint them. So I'm training each and every day in order to regain the call up, so that I can prove I can make my fans happy, because they want to see me in the national team. They want to see me perform in the national team. So that's what I want to do.
He says his fans want to see him in the national team, and I can bet you most of his fans are those who saw him captain Accra Hearts of Oak to become the league scorer, the top scorer in the Ghana Premier League. Now, as you know, Hearts of Oak are in a bit of trouble. They are having issues, and Mahatma has called for unity in the club ahead of the upcoming season, and he has called for support for the new Japanese-American manager, Kenichi Yashuhachi.
Well, I will not say they just went to pick him anywhere like that. He must have had some experience in the job before they went to pick him. And I think they should give him that respect since he's here. They should rather support him in every way they can, so that the team will go forward. But if they start to criticize him now, anything he will do, they will not appreciate it. They should just give him the needed support, so that he will push the club up, and everybody will be happy.
Okay, so from Ghana we go over to Somalia. There's a bit of history to be made. We take television for granted here. When the Black Stars play, any of our national teams play, we don't see them on TV. We cry bloody murder. In Somalia, they are going to have the first national team game broadcast on TV live for the first time ever. I kid you not. Now, this game is going to be broadcast on Somalia's national TV after what has been a lot of talks involving Somalia's national FA and Somalia's security agencies. And so this is a plus for Somalia, because they are getting themselves into the limelight. Don't forget that Somalia have been war-torn for a long time, and some of these things the rest of Africa and the world have taken for granted are now coming to the doorsteps of the country in the Horn of Africa. So that's the story we call from the BBC history will be made this week when the football match played in the country will be broadcast live on television for the first time. And it's the General Dawood Cup final between Somali Military Club Horseed and Somali Police Football Club Higan FC, and it will be screened on Somalia's national television. Okay, now let's do some athletics now, because Usain Bolt has confirmed that he will be participating in the London Anniversary Games next year, and it will be the final event for Usain before he takes part in the Olympics. Let's get the highlights and get some analysis.
Usain Bolt will return to London's Olympic Stadium, where he won the 100, 200 and 4x100 meter Olympic gold medals in 2012. Bolt confirmed his participation at the Diamond League meet in July as part of his preparations for the Rio Games. Bolt won the gold medal in the 100 meter race at the same event this year and also collected 3 gold medals at the World Championship in August.
So, let's get some analysis for this situation. We speak to athletics specialist and sports journalist Celestine Caroni, who is based in Nairobi. Hello, Celestine. Thanks for joining us on Joy News.
Hi, Gary.
Yes, you've seen Usain Bolt in the flesh, and you know what it means to have him at an event. What does this mean for him to confirm that he's going to be at the London Anniversary Games shortly before the Olympics?
I think for Usain Bolt, it's just a matter of making sure, that he has, set himself the right kind of competitions before the Olympics. Remember, 2016 was a very crucial year for Bolt because he had initially intimated that he might retire after the Olympic Games. But his sponsors, and you are right to say that he's such a big name, his sponsors actually asked him to take it 1 more year, which will be up to 2017, which now the World Championships, which will be held in London. So London for Bolt is very special here, Gary, because he's looking at it as a situation where not only is it a high paying, of course, in terms of appearance fees, it is also the last competition, like you mentioned, before the Olympics. Now, okay, Gary, it must be said that, remember, there's a taxation issue with London, and it has been lifted this year. That is why you see Bolt going to compete there in London, Gary. Okay, quick question, just in about 20 seconds. For Usain Bolt to confirm, what does it do to the field of those who will take part in the 100, 200 and 4x100 meters? Surely it means that they have to wait till another Olympics before they can win gold. Well, you see, in the past, there has been a bit of hope that, Usain Bolt can be beaten. He's been beaten by Tyson, he's been beaten by... so I think what people are looking at right now is thinking, look, if Bolt is in a field, I want to be there, I want to gauge myself against him and see, maybe he might be, as he grows older, who knows, he might be beaten finally, Gary, but like you said, the chances are very high that he might still continue his domination, Gary. Celestine Caroni is a Nairobi-based sports journalist who specializes in athletics and covered many athletics meets around the world. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. All right, to some football matters now, and FIFA have confirmed that the court hearing for Michel Platini will go on as planned, although Platini himself has refused to attend.